All right, welcome to another Fact Friday. This is Moving Home with Charlie. I'm Charlie Lambden, and as you can tell, I'm traveling at the moment, but just wanted to do a quick run through of this week's 5 newly reported facts that I think are the most significant ones insofar as they affect the housing market and people moving home. But also, for those of you who this morning received an email from Rightmove warning you that warning is what I'm about to do, telling you that, hey, 4 reasons you could buy a new build, 4 reasons you should buy a new build, right? Did any of you get that email? And the 4 reasons, none of them are exclusive to new builds. And I also thought that for those of you who got that email and thought, yeah, those are 4 quite good reasons. It's cheap energy bills, that's not exclusive to new builds anymore. No one would chain. Just nothing compelling. But here are 4 reasons not to buy, or to the counter options. 1, quality and snagging issues. Many new builds experience defects such as poor workmanship, misaligned windows, plumbing problems, or structural weaknesses. Surveys indicate that over 93% of new build buyers report snags, ranging from minor issues like paint blemishes to serious concerns like faulty wiring, which can be costly and time-consuming to resolve. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, initial depreciation. New build homes often depreciate in value shortly after purchase, with some resold at a loss. E.g., 1 in 8 homes in early 2023 were new builds sold at a loss. This is due to premium price paid for a new property. And actually, just so those of you who are thinking about buying new builds know, the ones that have the biggest premium over non-new builds or used homes are 2-bedroom new builds, 2-bedroom flats or 2-bedroom houses. Those are the ones that have almost a 50% premium over the equivalent non-new build properties. Number 3, construction delays and changes. Buying off-plan or on a new development carries the risk of delays due to economic downturns, planning issues, or construction problems. This can disrupt moving plans and lead to financial uncertainty for buyers. And number 4, limited longevity and sustainability. New builds are often constructed to a 60-year standard. Isn't that appalling? 60 years. You've got houses that were built hundreds of years ago still standing, especially the Victorian houses as well. And they're built like, 60 years. It's pretty shocking, I think. Which may not meet future sustainability requirements or withstand climate-related risks like subsidence and flooding. So there you are, just as ever, wanting to bring some balance to the industry guff. Now, on to the 5 facts of the week. And for those of you who don't want to listen to me rambling, we've got, in no particular order, half of independent store owners consider closing in face of yet more tax rises as the labour destruction of the economy continues. Fact number 2. Those of you who watched my video on Monday night will know this already. Rightmove's July report showed the biggest monthly asking price drop on record. That got lots of headlines. And to be clear, that was the biggest July drop since they've been recording those prices for over 20 years. Not the biggest ever 1-month drop, but still significant. And if you didn't see the video, and if you're watching this in the newsletter, hopefully there's a link to it in the newsletter below from Monday's video. Fact number 3, central London property prices have crashed, reports the Daily Mail. And I just wanted to say congratulations to the media for finally catching up. Got there in the end. But of course, a bit too late now. All the people who needed to be warned that was going to happen needed to know that when they were buying in 2022 and 2023. And now it's a bit late. Number 4, the Renters' Rights Bill passes the 3rd reading. It's in the final stages of becoming law. And I am predicting, not expecting, I expected house prices to slide 35%. I didn't predict it, but I am predicting that when the Renters' Rights Bill, if and when the Renters' Rights Bill becomes law, and it does look like they're doing everything in their power, moving heaven and earth to deliver it, it's going to cause the biggest train wreck of chaos in the rental market in living memory. It's been rushed. It's been not thought through. They haven't listened to experienced people in the industry about how to bring these changes about without too much bad impact. It's got ideology behind it rather than practicality. And whilst there are definitely needs for reform in the rental market, better protections for both good landlords and good tenants are needed. The way they're doing this, I mean, look at the way this government's done everything else so far. It's rushed it and it's been bad and it's backfired. Now imagine them doing something as important as reforming how the rental market works, where no one doing it actually understands how the rental market works. It's going to be awful. The earliest that's going to come in is, I think, next year, 2026, according to Suzanne Smith. And I've linked to her video describing it, explaining it, by the way. Watch that video if you... And you need to know about this, whether you are a tenant or a landlord or a letting agent. You need to be aware of what's coming down the track, because it's going to affect everybody. And what you don't want to do is to find out too late and not be ready, because most people make their moving decisions 1 or 2 years ahead. You might be a landlord thinking of buying, you might be a tenant thinking of moving, you might be... Anyone who might be affected needs to know in advance what happens, because if you don't and you make a decision now based on the way the current market works and you don't know what's coming down the track just a year away, you could live to regret it. So make sure, if you are a tenant or a landlord or a letting agent, that you are watching what's planned to come down the tracks for the rentals right. If you're thinking, oh, I'll just wait till it happens and figure it out then, you're going to get caught out. Just like people who didn't listen to me about house prices 2 years ago. Right. Fact number 5. A high-profile veteran estate agent. He won't like me calling him a veteran, but he is. I mean that in the best possible way. Simon Bradbury, who used to be an owner of a very high-profile and highly regarded estate agency. He's now an agent and a consultant to other agents, and he wrote an article on why he thinks... Well, he says winter is coming for the housing market, and he thinks both transaction volumes and prices are going to fall. And he's got even more experience in this industry than I have, and he's someone that I listen to. The link to his article is in the description below, but I just thought you might like to read what a highly respected, very experienced industry estate agent figure is telling other agents about what's happening in the market. So that's fact number 5. Above and beyond all that, this is just a short, quick roundup for Fact Friday. The negative news on the economy just doesn't stop coming. And there'll be people watching and say, oh, but Charlie, why haven't you talked about retail sales that were announced this morning be up on last year? They're slightly up on last year, but compared to last month, which was down 2.8% in May, they're up 0.9%. So all it's doing is a little bit off the bottom of where it went to last month. It's trending down. There's no exciting, sustainable uplift in retail sales coming anytime soon, I promise you. The jobs market is terrible and getting worse. Employers left, right and centre are warning. I mean, half of independent shopkeepers warning that they're thinking of closing. Half, 50%. And also this week, they announced that car and van manufacturing figures, car and van production figures, are down to levels not seen since the 1950s. And that's one of our biggest manufacturing sectors. And it has collapsed. Car manufacturing has collapsed. It's terrible. That's UK car manufacturing has collapsed. It's terrible for the companies. It's terrible for the employees involved. But it's a sign of what's happening in the economy. And there are YouTubers in the car industry saying, "What's going on?" There's a guy who owns a second-hand car lot, and he said, "I've been open now for several hours this morning. Normally would have had 10 people drop by now. Not one single person." I saw another video about a classic car auction where there were utterly stunning cars going for peanuts. One that I wish I bought myself. There was a 1990s Mercedes 320 SL, beautiful, dark blue with that beige leather, that lovely convertible with the hard top that goes with it as well. It went for £2,000. So anywhere you look, And then there were the government borrowing figures out this week. Absolute train wreck. Forecasted to be 16 billion, actually borrowed 20 billion. So Rachel Reeves has now created her own brand new 20 billion black hole. And that's if you believe the figures and you don't think that they'd be massaged. And I put a link to Sasha Yanchin's video on this. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it. Just go and look at Sasha Yanchin. Sasha Takes on UK is his YouTube channel. The most recent video there, he breaks it down. And for once, he's not being funny and jokey about it. He spells it out and breaks down and shows you the government's own data that shows just how bad it is and where the money's going. And unfortunately, the most scary thing about it is that 80% of what the government is borrowing is being used to just pay the interest on existing debt. If the government was borrowing that money to build new social homes or to invest in new technology in the NHS or to, then okay, borrowing heavily, but to build stuff, it's borrowing, is taking on more debt, which will have more interest just to pay off the interest, not even to pay off the old debt, just the interest on the old debt. This is like you've maxed out your credit cards. You got so many credit cards, they're all at the max, and you take out another credit card just to keep covering the interest on all the other credit cards. That's where the country is with its finances. And I don't know how long this can sustain itself. I don't know whether it continues to just have an inexorable slide into decline and despair and poverty and doom, or whether there's going to be a financial event. There are some people who think, oh, they're about to start turning on the money printers. I hope not, and I don't think so. There are some people who think that there is no alternative. There are some people who think that the IMF is going to have to bail out the UK. And there are some people who think that that's a planned and intended move, and it's going to bring about, it's going to herald the introduction of digital currency, central bank digital currency. But the Bank of England also put out a story this week saying that they've had the feedback on digital currency has been very negative, and apparently they're rethinking it based on the feedback from the public, which, again, make of that what you will. I mean, there's so much. I'm supposed to be on family holiday this week, and I really haven't had a chance to be on family holiday. There's so much going on. All of which is to say, for those of you watching, well, Charlie, what does that mean? What do we do? It means if you're buying a home because you want to live in a home, do so taking all of this into account. Is the downturn in the economy likely to affect your job in the future? If so, does that make you want to own a home more or less? For some people, it'll be, actually, I want to get a home while I can still get a mortgage, because otherwise, if I lose my job, I can't get a mortgage and I haven't got a home forever. At least if I get a mortgage and get a home and then I lose my job, I'll rent out a room, or I'll find a way, or open an OnlyFans page, whatever it might be. You know, people will go to whatever length to keep their home. And then there are other people who look at it and go, I don't want to risk that. I don't want to buy a home and then find out that I've lost my job and I can't keep it, and then lose it and lose my deposit. It's personal, it's horses for courses, it's personal risk appetite. If you're a seller who needs to sell, the number of sellers still, I mean, even those sellers, these are the ones I'm most worried for. The ones who've got their head in the clouds going, well, this is what I want for it. The market doesn't care what you want for it. The economy doesn't care what you want for it. The unemployment figures don't care what you want for your house. If it's what you want for it, you got your head in the clouds, you're in cloud cuckoo land, and you're wasting everyone's time, you're not going to sell your house. If you understand that the market decides what price your house is going to sell at, then you're halfway there to actually having a chance of selling. But people who are halfway there, but still actually not in full possession of the true state of the market, you're coming to market not quite so badly, and then you're dropping a price because you do want to sell. But you're going to end up getting less money after a longer period of time by doing that. Only the sellers who understand two things are selling at the best price the market will pay right now. And they're the sellers who go, okay, number one, the market doesn't care what I think, what I want, or what my agent values my house at. The market doesn't care, right? So I must ignore what I want, what the agent values it at. I must ignore that. And number two, and congratulations on number one, because that's proper realism, I must get my launch price right. If I get my launch price right, then even though the economy is bad and the housing market's stagnating, the buyers who are out there will all come around to my house, and they'll want to buy it because I'm a sensible seller accepting market value. And they'll compete against each other, and I will get it sold quickly at whatever the best price the market is. And the best way to achieve that is to make sure you choose your agent like your future depends on it. And say to your agent, please, don't overvalue my house. I'm sick of my house being overvalued. I'm sick of hearing about people's houses being overvalued. Please tell me what I need to do to make sure I get competing buyers. What do you do to get competing buyers? And I promise you, something like 60% of agents will stare at you blankly going, huh? A seller who doesn't want their house overvalued? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't have anything else to say because all we do is stick it on Rightmove and hope. But the good agents are going to say, what a breath of fresh air to hear a seller saying that they understand that the market determines the price. Now let me explain to you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what we as an agent do to make sure that we get multiple viewings on your house. We can't guarantee what the offers are going to be. What we can do is make sure we get multiple viewings through your house in the first 2 weeks and create a market for your home so that we can find out the best price that the market will pay for your home. The agent's job is to create a market for your home. Every property that's sitting on the market unsold, the agent failed to create a market for that home, because no one through the door equals no market for your home. The market for your home exists only among the people who come and view it. Without viewings, you don't have a market for your home. And sitting there waiting for the market to come to you doesn't ever happen, doesn't ever work. Even in a rising market, that doesn't work if you've overpriced it too far. People just think, joker. So for the sellers, the market is only getting harder from here for at least the next 2 years. I mean, at least the next 2 years, probably the next 5 years. It's just going to continue sliding. And for those of you who believe in the 18-year house crash cycle, well, that's next year. That's been predicted as 2026, the year house prices crash. And I think it might well be the year which we realise house prices already crashed, but it takes so long for it to get reported. To go, oh God, we're only just now seeing the land registry figures for 2025. And for those of you buying thinking, I want to buy a home, but I'm worried about what the market's going to do, so I'm not going to buy a home. You should still buy a home. You should still be out there viewing, but just be really cautious with your offers. And you'll see what I mean. Once you are, as a buyer, out there viewing properties that you would like to own, and you realise actually there aren't many other viewers out there, you're the one that's in a great position to make an offer and get it accepted. In other words, despite the economic gloom that's out there and getting worse, I mean, Rachel Reeves is going to raise taxes the next budget in October, no matter what happens. It's an almost mathematical certainty, provided she's still in post. Who knows if that's going to be the case? I mean, she'll have to be, otherwise Keir Starmer would have to resign as well, because he said that she will be. But yeah, just keep viewing. If you're a buyer, keep viewing. You don't have to go out viewing with an obligation to offer, but view places that you'd like, and view places that have been on the market at too high a price for too long. If the agent will give you a viewing, make your offer. I got a message just this morning. I haven't got it here. From someone saying they just had their offer accepted. They'd done as I'd advised. They'd been out there viewing. They'd seen a property they liked. They put in an offer that was well below the asking price. And the agent said, no, the seller's not even going to consider that anything below asking price. Sorry. And this buyer, who followed my advice, said that's our first and final offer. Sorry, that's it, and walked away. A few weeks later, agent rings up. Can you do any better than that offer? No. Okay, the seller accepts your offer. So this is why I say you need patience. Okay, patience, persistence, and preparedness. They went in with an offer which was well prepared. Here's my proof of deposit funds that have been authorised and approved by my conveyancer. Here's the conveyancer I'm using. Here's my mortgage and principal. We can move very, very quickly. Here's my first and final offer. It's that or nothing. It's yes or no. And they got a yes. They had to wait. It was initially a no, but eventually it was a yes. Once the seller and the agent went, oh God, that buyer is the only market for that home. So this is why I say, don't wait to buy. If you want a home, right? If owning a home that you can live in is your priority, ignoring finances, right? You want to live in a home that you own, don't wait. as long as you follow my guidance, you can get a home at a bargain price now if you've got the patience, the persistence to keep viewing, and you're properly prepared. All right? I'm rambling now, but I just want to help those of you who need to move and want to move. I want to help sellers sell. I want to help buyers buy. I want to help transactions. I want to help agents do more transactions. I want to help the really good agents just walk away from that section of the market, which is sellers with their head in the clouds. I want people to ignore the overvaluing that's happening. Oh, God, fucking Savills yesterday putting out that stupid press release. Oh, we're expecting house prices to surge by 2029. Oh, but we've just revised our forecast for this year down by 75%. But you can still believe our long-term forecast, even though we got our short-term forecast that badly wrong. We can believe our long-term. It makes me so cross. Because why? You don't need to pump house prices. It doesn't help sales, you absolute buffoons. Honestly, how thick must you be to realise the buyers are there, but it's because prices are too high that they're not buying. And you're like, hey, prices are going to go up. It's like saying, hey, we're going to sell less houses. So stupid. And Savills is supposed to be better than that. Yes, it's a successful company, makes lots of money, but that is just self-harm. It's dipstick, Tim, nice but dim self-harm. So Savills at the beginning of 2025 forecast that UK house prices would rise 4% in 2025. They've now gone, no, actually, no, it's 1%. Savills has revised its 2025 house price forecast from 4% growth down to 1% growth, only after half the year. Rightmove has revised its 2025 house price growth figure down from 4% to 2%. Which is to say that I hope those of you who in the past have said to me, but Charlie, Rightmove said this, and but Charlie, Savills said that. Yeah, really? How do you like them now? They've both revised their figures down. Which means that when they come out with this 5-year bollocks, just ignore it. Just ignore it. Don't fall for it. Let the gullible sellers go, oh, and the gullible buyers. There are buyers out there who go, oh, Savills says house prices are going to shoot to the moon and, they're really good estate agents. They must know what's going to happen. Of course they don't. Nobody knows. They're just pumping their book, like Rightmove pumping the new build guy's book, sending out emails saying, hey, 4 reasons to buy a new home. Anyway, I am rambling. It's been long enough ramble. Thanks for watching, guys. Please, if you've received my newsletter, share it with people that you think will find it useful. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, it's free. It's every Friday. mhwc.co.uk/newsletter. The rest of you, have a great weekend. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.